Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the wealth you so desperately seek is already within your reach, just waiting to be recognized. I'm not talking about empty promises or magic formulas, but an ancient wisdom that the great Stoic philosophers already understood over 2,000 years ago. Stoic masters such as Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, men who deeply understood the nature of true prosperity, discovered that genuine wealth doesn't start with what you own, but with how you perceive the world. Today, I'm going to reveal how this ancient philosophy can completely transform your relationship with abundance. I'll show you exactly how to remove the invisible blocks that are preventing prosperity from flowing into your life, and how to activate the power of manifestation that already exists within you. What you will discover in this video is not just another theory about positive thinking. It's a complete system based on the Stoic principles that have already transformed the lives of thousands of ordinary people into real prosperity magnets. If you're tired of struggling with scarcity, feeling like you never have enough, or seeing opportunities pass you by without you being able to take advantage of them, this could be the most important video you'll watch this year. Stay until the end, because I'm going to share a specific Stoic visualization technique that very few people know about. A technique so powerful that it can start manifesting results in a matter of days, not months or years. If this knowledge resonates with you, don't forget to leave your like so that more people can discover these transformative teachings. And subscribe to the channel to continue your journey of Stoic wisdom applied to modern life. Now let's unravel the path to your hidden wealth together. Stoic wisdom on true wealth. Over 2,000 years ago, while most people were chasing gold coins and property, the Stoic philosophers had already discovered a powerful secret about the true nature of wealth. They realized that authentic prosperity transcends mere material possessions. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoics who, curiously, was extremely wealthy, wrote extensively about how money alone does not guarantee happiness or inner peace. He demonstrated this in his own life by periodically practicing voluntary deprivation exercises, sleeping on hard mattresses and eating simple foods to remind himself that he could be happy even with much less than he had. The Stoics clearly distinguished between two types of wealth that shape our existence. The first is material wealth, money, property, investments, and tangible goods that can be counted, measured, and accumulated. The second, which they considered infinitely more valuable, is immaterial wealth. Virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice and temperance, as well as qualities such as peace of mind, contentment, and emotional resilience. This distinction was not just philosophical, but deeply practical. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and dedicated practitioner of Stoicism, even though he had access to unimaginable wealth, wrote in his personal diaries about how little his material possessions meant compared to the wealth of character he sought to cultivate on a daily basis. Stoic wisdom teaches us that in order to attract true prosperity into our lives, we must first cultivate it within ourselves. This means developing a healthy relationship with what we already have, rather than fixing our attention on what we lack. When our mind is dominated by the fear of scarcity, constant worries about not having enough, envious comparisons with others, or anxiety about the financial future, we create a mental pattern that attracts more of the same experiences. It's as if our thoughts emit a frequency that the universe simply reflects back to us. Epictetus, who began his life as a slave before becoming a respected professor of philosophy, emphasized that true freedom begins when we stop desiring what is out of our control and start valuing what we already have. In contrast, when we cultivate a mindset of abundance, recognizing and appreciating the riches that already exist in our lives, we naturally become receptive to new opportunities. It's not that the universe magically rewards us for positive thoughts, as some modern interpretations suggest. It's more subtle and profound. When we're not paralyzed by fear and scarcity, our minds are free to recognize possibilities that have always been there, but which we couldn't see before. Musonius Rufus, another prominent Stoic philosopher, taught that the person who is satisfied with what they have, however modest, is infinitely richer than the person who has a lot, but always wants more. A transformative insight that the Stoics offer us is that you are already prosperous right now. This is not just an empty motivational statement, but a profound truth when examined carefully. The simple fact of being alive, breathing, and able to contemplate these ideas is already a form of wealth that many have not had the privilege of experiencing. Every heartbeat, every breath, every moment of consciousness represents a constant flow of vital energy available to you. Zeno of Scythia, the founder of Stoicism, taught that nature provides us with everything we need to live well, not necessarily luxuriously, but with dignity and purpose. Stoics regularly practiced mental exercises to cultivate this perception of abundance. One of them was negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, where they imagined losing everything they valued, not to feed fear, but to awaken a deep gratitude for what they already had. Another exercise was the contemplation of death, not as something morbid, but as a reminder to value the present and use the time we have wisely. These practices were not just philosophical, but transformative. They literally reconfigured the way practitioners perceived their own wealth and, consequently, how they interacted with the material world. True wealth, in the Stoic view, is that which no one can take away from you. While fortunes can be lost in economic crises, property can be destroyed in natural disasters, and social status can change with the political winds, inner wealth remains intact. The wisdom you cultivate, the courage you develop in the face of challenges, the justice with which you treat others, and the temperance you practice in your desires. These are the true riches that the Stoics invite us to accumulate. As Epictetus wisely observed, wealth does not consist in having great possessions, but in having few needs. This reversal of perspective is perhaps the most valuable contribution that Stoicism offers to our modern understanding of prosperity and abundance. When we begin to internalize this Stoic wisdom about true wealth, something remarkable happens. We stop being slaves to the incessant quest for more and begin to experience the freedom that comes from contentment. This doesn't mean abandoning ambitions or ceasing to seek improvements in our material condition. The Stoics were not ascetics who renounced the world. On the contrary, many of them were successful in their careers and finances. The difference was that they didn't allow their possessions to possess them. They maintained a healthy relationship with money and material goods, seeing them as useful tools for a good life, but never as the ultimate source of their happiness or personal value. This timeless wisdom invites us to do the same, to seek material prosperity while cultivating above all the inner wealth that truly defines a life well lived. Removing mental barriers. The barriers that stand between you and your wealth are neither physical nor tangible. They are mental constructs created by your own lifelong conditioning. These barriers manifest themselves as limiting beliefs that you have internalized. Money is hard to earn. Only privileged people succeed. I'm not good enough to have everything I want. These are not absolute truths, but mental blocks that restrict your ability to receive abundance. Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus, who began life as a slave before becoming a respected professor of philosophy, understood deeply that our greatest prisons are mental. Epictetus taught, "Don't let the force of an impression throw you off balance when it first strikes you. Just say, 'Impression, wait a moment. Let me see who you are and what you stand for. Let me test you.'" This teaching invites us to question, Our limiting beliefs about prosperity and abundance. The first step to transforming your financial reality is to look closely at your thoughts. When you think about money, what emotions arise? Do you feel gratitude and certainty, or fear and worry? When you see someone prospering, do you feel inspiration or envy? Your feelings are clear indicators of the vibration you're emitting, and this vibration directly determines what you attract into your life. As Marcus Aurelius taught, a man's life is what his thoughts make of it. The Stoics regularly practiced the exercise of questioning their initial impressions, especially those charged with negative emotion. They knew that often our fears and anxieties about money are based on mistaken beliefs, biases, or even a lack of information. When these feelings of scarcity arise, ask yourself, what is the origin of this fear? Is this belief really true, or just an impression I've accepted without question? Many of these mental barriers were installed during our childhood through casual comments from our parents, such as "money doesn't grow on trees" or "people like us don't get rich." Others were reinforced by negative experiences with money or by observing the financial difficulties of people close to us. Stoicism teaches us that although we can't change the past, we have total control over how we interpret those experiences now. To remove these barriers, the Stoics recommended the practice of negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, where we imagine losing everything we value. Paradoxically, this exercise doesn't feed fear, but rather frees us from it, showing us that even in the worst possible scenario, we still possess the most valuable thing, our capacity for reason, virtue, and resilience. As Seneca wrote, "It is in times of security that the spirit must strengthen itself against adversity." By practicing Stoic detachment from your limiting beliefs about money, you begin to realize that these barriers are not solid walls, but smokescreens that can be dissipated with the light of awareness. True financial freedom begins when you recognize that you don't have to believe every thought that comes into your mind, especially those that limit your potential for prosperity. The dichotomy of control, a fundamental Stoic principle. The C. Stoics developed a fundamental principle known as the dichotomy of control, the clear understanding of what is and what is not under our control. This principle, perhaps the most powerful in Stoicism, offers a revolutionary framework for manifesting wealth and abundance in our lives. Epictetus, in his manual, Enchiridion, begins with this powerful statement: "Some things are under our control, while others are not. Under our control are our opinion, choice, desire, aversion, and in short, everything that is our own action. Not under our control are the body, property, reputation, positions, and in a word, everything that is not our own action." This clear distinction frees us from the frustration of trying to control the uncontrollable. When we apply the dichotomy of control to the manifestation of wealth, we realize that we cannot directly control external circumstances, such as the global economy, the actions of other people, or even the specific results of our investments. However, we do have absolute control over our thoughts, our actions, our daily choices, and, crucially, how we interpret events in our financial life. What you focus on grows exponentially. If your attention is fixed on lack, lack multiplies. If your attention is on abundance, abundance expands. This doesn't mean ignoring reality, but creating a new reality from the way you decide to interpret the world. As Marcus Aurelius taught, you have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Viktor Frankl, a psychologist and Holocaust survivor strongly influenced by Stoicism, observed, "Between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." When we apply this principle to our finances, we realize that while we can't control every financial outcome, we can control how we respond to every situation. This understanding frees us from constant anxiety about the financial future. Instead of worrying about possible losses or negative scenarios that are out of our control, we can direct our energy towards concrete actions that are within our control, learning about investments, developing new skills, creating value for others, cultivating healthy financial habits, and maintaining a mindset of abundance. The Stoics also taught that we should accept external events with equanimity, what they called amor fati, love of fate. This doesn't mean passive resignation, but an active acceptance that allows us to work with circumstances as they are, not as we would like them to be. When we lose an investment or face a financial setback, instead of resisting reality, we can ask, how can I use this situation to grow? What lesson can I learn here? The dichotomy of control teaches us that the true manifestation of wealth lies not in trying to manipulate the external world to conform to our desires, but in cultivating an internal mindset of abundance that allows us to flow with circumstances, seizing opportunities when they arise, and maintaining our serenity when faced with challenges. The power of manifestation in action. When you fully accept that wealth is already available, that there are infinite possibilities around you, and that your mind possesses the power to materialize your desires, you naturally align yourself with the flow of prosperity. This is not a new idea or exclusive to modern philosophies. The Stoics already understood the power of the mind to shape our reality. But manifestation doesn't just happen on the mental plane. Thought is the beginning of the process, but action is what solidifies the new path. The Stoics were pragmatists and emphasized that philosophy should be practiced, not just contemplated. As Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This wisdom reminds us that manifesting prosperity requires the courage to act, even when the path seems challenging. In order for the universe to give you what you want, you need to act as if you are already the prosperous person you want to become. This means making decisions in line with abundance, using words that reinforce your inner wealth, and behaving like someone who fully trusts in their ability to attract everything they need. The Stoics called this living according to nature, acting in harmony with universal principles and your own higher nature. Epictetus taught, first tell yourself what you want to be, then do what you have to do. This simple instruction contains profound wisdom about manifestation. First, visualize clearly who you want to become, a prosperous and abundant person. Then act consistently in accordance with that vision. The congruence between your thoughts, words and actions creates a powerful magnetic field that attracts circumstances in line with your vision. The Stoics practiced what today we would call incarnation, living as if they were already the person they aspired to be. Marcus Aurelius, even as Emperor of Rome, practiced virtues such as simplicity, self-control, and service to others. On a daily basis, he didn't expect to become wise in the future. He acted like a wise man in the present. In the same way, to manifest prosperity, you must start acting like a prosperous person now, not when external circumstances change. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have or pretending to have wealth that hasn't materialized yet. It means cultivating the habits, attitudes, and virtues of someone who lives in abundance. Gratitude for what you already have, generosity towards others, discipline in your finances, confidence in your worth and abilities, and a clear vision of your prosperous future. Manifestation also requires persistence in the face of obstacles. The Stoics saw challenges not as punishments, but as opportunities for growth and demonstration of virtue. As Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind, just as work strengthens the body. When you encounter obstacles on your journey to prosperity, see them as necessary tests that are strengthening your ability to manifest and sustain wealth. Finally, the Stoics remind us that true manifestation comes from a place of alignment with the greater good. They believed in an ordered and benevolent universe, what they called the Logos, and that living in harmony with this universal principle was the path to a good life. When your intention for prosperity is aligned not only with your personal well-being, but also with the greater good of all, you access a much deeper and more sustainable power of manifestation. The 4 Stoic virtues and prosperity. The Stoics valued 4 cardinal virtues that they considered essential for a life well lived: wisdom, Sophia; courage, Andrea; justice, Dikaiosine; and temperance, Sophrosine. These virtues were not just abstract ideals, but practical tools for navigating life, and they are fundamental for manifesting and sustaining true wealth. Wisdom, Sophia, allows us to discern what really matters, make smart financial choices, and understand the true value of things. In the context of manifesting wealth, wisdom helps us distinguish between superficial desires and genuine aspirations, between sound investments and risky schemes, between authentic abundance and mere ostentation. As Seneca taught, it is not the man who has little, but the man who desires more who is poor. Stoic wisdom shows us that true wealth begins with understanding what is enough. Courage, Andrea, gives us the strength to take calculated risks, overcome the fear of scarcity, and act even when the path seems uncertain. Manifesting prosperity often requires us to step out of our comfort zone, make bold decisions, and persist in the face of obstacles. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. As Seneca observed, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Stoic courage drives us to take the actions necessary to manifest the abundance we desire. Justice, Dikaiosine, guides us to use our wealth ethically, contribute to the common good, and create prosperity that benefits everyone. The Stoics believed that human beings are naturally social and interdependent, and that our happiness is intrinsically linked to the well-being of others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the hive cannot be good for the bee." When we manifest wealth with a sense of justice, we seek prosperity that uplifts not only ourselves, but also our families, communities, and the world around us. Temperance, Sophrosine, teaches us to find balance, avoid excess, and cultivate a healthy relationship with money and material possessions. This virtue is particularly important in a culture that often equates success with excess. Temperance allows us to enjoy the fruits of our prosperity without becoming slaves to it. As Epictetus advised, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few needs. Stoic temperance helps us to manifest sustainable abundance, not just momentary gains that can be lost through lack of moderation. These 4 virtues do not work in isolation, but as an integrated system. Wisdom without courage can lead to inaction. Courage without temperance can lead to reckless risks. Justice without wisdom can be misdirected. And temperance without justice can become mere greed. Together, these virtues form the basis of a prosperous life, both materially and immaterially. The Stoics believed that these virtues could be developed through constant practice, just as a muscle is strengthened through regular exercise. To manifest lasting wealth, we must exercise these virtues daily in our financial decisions, in our relationship with money, and in how we choose to use our prosperity. By incorporating these 4 virtues into your manifestation journey, you not only attract material wealth, but also develop the character necessary to sustain and use it. Visualization, the tool of the great manifestors. Creative visualization is not a modern technique or a passing fad. It's an ancient practice that the Stoics already used in a sophisticated way. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often described the process of visualizing oneself acting with virtue in the face of challenging situations before they occurred. This practice, which he called mental preparation, allowed him to respond with wisdom and equanimity when real challenges arose. Close your eyes for a moment and visualize yourself living the life you've always dreamed of, without limitations. Don't just see vague images, but create a complete multi-sensory experience. Feel the texture of the clothes you are wearing in your prosperous life. Hear the sounds of your surroundings. Perceive the aromas and tastes associated with this new level of abundance. Feel the abundance flowing to you as if it were absolutely inevitable, not as a distant possibility, but as a reality that is already manifesting. The Stoics understood that our experience of reality is mainly shaped by our internal interpretations and perceptions. Epictetus taught, "It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them." When you visualize with intensity, you are literally reconfiguring your interpretations and consequently your experience of reality. See yourself receiving surprising opportunities, earning money in ways you never imagined possible, perhaps through talents you haven't yet fully explored or connections you haven't yet made. Visualize doors opening, people coming forward to support you, businesses growing, investments paying off, money circulating freely in your life. Don't limit yourself to generic images. Create specific, detailed scenes. See yourself signing important contracts, receiving notifications of significant deposits, meeting valuable business partners in unexpected circumstances. The Stoics believed in the power of mental rehearsal, not only to prepare for adversity, but also to align yourself with positive outcomes. Feel intensely the thrill of being exactly where you always wanted to be. This emotion is the master key. The Stoics recognized that emotions are not just passive reactions, but states that we can actively cultivate. When you feel prosperity, before you even see it materialize, you dramatically accelerate its manifestation because you align your entire being, thoughts, emotions, and actions with that outcome. Seneca wrote, "It is essential that you not only look good externally, but that you feel good internally." Stoic visualization goes beyond simple positive imagination. It incorporates the acceptance of what the Stoics called amor fati, love of fate. While visualizing your prosperity, also accept that the path may include challenges and obstacles, seeing them not as impediments, but as opportunities for growth and demonstration of virtue. This balanced approach avoids the trap of magical thinking and anchors your visualization in practical reality. Practice this visualization daily, ideally in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to sleep, when your mind is most receptive to new impressions. The Stoics valued consistency above all else, recognizing that true transformation comes from regular practice, not sporadic efforts. As Epictetus said, "Repeat to yourself what you wish to be, then do what you have to do." Remember that Stoic visualization is not an escape from reality, but a tool for shaping your perception and consequently your actions in the real world. After each visualization session, ask yourself, what action can I take today, however small, that will bring me closer to this vision? In this way, you create a bridge between the internal world of visualization and the external world of concrete manifestation. Expanding your definition of wealth, the first step to transforming your financial reality is to radically expand your perception of what it really means to be rich. The Stoics understood that our definition of wealth directly determines our experience of abundance or scarcity. Many people associate prosperity only with money and material possessions, creating a narrow vision that keeps them perpetually dissatisfied, no matter how much they accumulate. Stoic philosophy offers us a much broader and liberating definition of wealth. For the Stoics, true abundance goes far beyond material possessions. It encompasses inner freedom, emotional balance, peace of mind, meaningful human connections, opportunities for growth, and an unshakable sense of trust in the flow of life. Epictetus, who began his life as a slave and ended it as one of Rome's most respected philosophers, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few needs." When you broaden your vision and understand that wealth is everything that allows you to live fully, money becomes just one of the many means by which abundance expresses itself in your life. This perspective doesn't diminish the importance of money. The Stoics weren't ascetics who renounced the material world, but it puts money in its rightful place as a tool for a good life, not as the ultimate goal of existence. As Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers who was also extremely wealthy, taught, "No man can live a happy life, or even a bearable one, without the study of wisdom." Despite his enormous wealth, he was one of the richest men in Rome. Seneca practiced philosophical exercises such as periodic fasting and occasional sleeping on hard mattresses to remind himself that he could be happy with much less. He didn't do this out of masochism, but to cultivate what the Stoics called inner independence, the ability to maintain serenity and joy regardless of external circumstances. The Stoics invite us to take an honest inventory of our lives, identifying all the forms of wealth we already possess, but which we may not be fully recognizing. Are you healthy? Do you have people who love you? Do you have the capacity to learn and grow? Do you have moments of beauty and tranquility in your day? Do you have the freedom to make choices? These are all profound forms of wealth that many people with substantial bank accounts don't have. This expansion of the definition of wealth is not just a philosophical exercise. It has powerful practical implications for your manifestation of prosperity. When you recognize and appreciate the multiple forms of abundance already present in your life, you establish a vibrational pattern of fullness that naturally attracts more experiences of abundance in all areas, including the financial one. As Marcus Aurelius observed, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. By adopting this broader definition of wealth, you also free yourself from toxic comparison with others, which is one of the main causes of unhappiness and a sense of scarcity. The Stoics teach us to find contentment not in having more than others, but in having enough for a virtuous and meaningful life. This change of perspective creates mental and emotional space for true abundance to flourish in your life. Gratitude, the magnet of abundance. One of the most powerful keys to manifesting wealth is authentic gratitude. The Stoic philosophers deeply understood this truth, although they expressed it in different terms than we do today. For them, gratitude was a natural expression of the virtue of justice, recognizing and honoring the value of things and people in our lives. Marcus Aurelius dedicated the first pages of his Meditations to expressing gratitude to everyone who had contributed to his development, from family members to teachers and mentors. When you feel truly grateful for what you already have, you emit a frequency of abundance into the universe. This isn't just a poetic metaphor. Modern neuroscience studies confirm that positive emotional states such as gratitude literally alter brain activity and body chemistry, creating a state of receptivity and mental clarity. This positive vibe attracts even more reasons to be grateful, creating a virtuous cycle of growing abundance. On the other hand, when you obsessively focus on what is lacking, you reinforce scarcity in your life. The Stoics called this fixation on what we don't have empty desire and considered it one of the main causes of human suffering. Epictetus advised, "Don't try to make things happen the way you want them to, but want them to happen the way they do, and your life will flow well." Take a test right now. Stop for a moment and think of 3 things for which you are deeply grateful. Don't just choose the obvious. Dig deeper and find aspects of your life that you may have taken for granted. It could be the ability to breathe freely, the sight that allows you to read these words, or the mind that can understand them. Feel this gratitude intensely, allowing it to fill your whole being. The Stoics practiced an exercise called contemplation of deprivation, where they imagined losing something valuable in their lives. The aim was not to feed fear, but to awaken a deep gratitude for what they already had. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you will be content with the simplest food, with rough and hard clothes, saying to yourself all the time, 'Is this what I feared?'" Imagine that the universe is registering your vibration of gratitude and responding with even more reasons for you to feel this way. This isn't fantasy, it's real. What you feel intensely creates your material reality, not through some mystical process, but because your feelings determine your perceptions, decisions, and actions, which in turn shape your experience of reality. Develop a daily ritual of gratitude, ideally in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to sleep. The Stoics highly valued daily rituals as a way of cultivating virtues and positive states of mind. Write in a diary 3 specific things you are grateful for each day, making sure to include aspects related to your financial prosperity, however modest they may seem at the moment. Clarity. The power of specific vision. In addition to gratitude, a fundamental principle for attracting prosperity is absolute clarity about what you want to manifest. The Stoics were known for their precision of thought and language, recognizing that vague ideas lead to vague results. Epictetus advised his students to clearly define their goals and values before taking any major action. Many people say they want to be rich, but they don't have a clear vision of what that really means. For them, they want more money, but they don't define exactly how much. They want success, but don't articulate what success means in their specific lives. This lack of clarity creates a confusing signal that the universe cannot respond to accurately. The universe responds to clarity with precision. When you have a specific and detailed vision of the life you want to live, you create a powerful magnetic field that attracts exactly what is aligned with that vision. The Stoics understood that our minds work best when they have clear targets to aim at. As Seneca observed, no wind is favorable to those who do not know which port they are sailing to. If you want to manifest abundant wealth, ask yourself, what would your life be like if you already had everything you want? Don't settle for generic answers. Delve into the specific details. Where exactly would you live? Describe the house or apartment in vivid detail, its location, architecture, decor, the view from the windows. What would your daily life be like? Describe a typical day, from the moment you wake up until bedtime, including who you interact with and how you feel during each activity. What kind of work would you do? Not just the title or function, but the specific nature of the activities that would fill your working day, the environment you would work in, the people you would collaborate with, the impact your work would have on the world. What experiences would you have? What places would you visit? What skills would you develop? What pleasures would you enjoy? The Stoics teach us that clarity is not just about what we want to have or do, but fundamentally about who we want to be. Marcus Aurelius often asked himself, "What kind of person do I want to be today?" This is perhaps the most powerful question for manifestation, as it aligns your external desires with your internal development. The more details you add to your vision, the more powerful your manifestation will be, as each detail acts as a specific instruction to your subconscious and to the universal field of possibilities. The Stoics practiced what they called premeditation, visualizing future scenarios in vivid detail to prepare the mind to respond virtuously. Write down your vision in detail, revisiting and refining it regularly. The Stoics greatly valued writing as a tool for clarifying thought. Seneca produced volumes of letters and essays, and Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations as a way of organizing and clarifying his thoughts. The act of writing down your vision not only makes it clearer, but also represents a deeper commitment to its manifestation, freeing yourself from the fear of scarcity. True wealth is not primarily manifested in your bank account, but in the inner freedom you cultivate. And the greatest freedom you can gain is not being controlled by the paralyzing fear of scarcity. This fear of missing out, of not having enough, of falling behind, is what keeps countless people stuck in a mindset of limitation, preventing them from making bold decisions and taking advantage of valuable opportunities that come their way. The Stoic philosophers deeply understood this dynamic. Epictetus, who began his life as a slave before becoming a respected professor of philosophy, taught that our greatest prison is not external circumstances, but our own fears and attachments. He said, "It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them. When we interpret the world through the lens of scarcity, we see danger and limitation everywhere, even when we are surrounded by abundance." The fear of scarcity manifests itself in various subtle ways in our lives. It appears when we hesitate to invest in ourselves, when we cling desperately to the money we have for fear of losing it, when we envy the success of others as if prosperity were a limited resource, or when we refuse to share our knowledge and resources for fear of losing competitive advantage. All these manifestations of fear block the natural flow of abundance. Abundance requires unwavering trust, not naive trust, but trust based on a deep understanding of how the universe operates. You need to trust that the universe is generous, that there is more than enough for everyone, and that as you open yourself up to receive, the flow of wealth increases exponentially. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and dedicated practitioner of Stoicism, wrote in his Meditations, "The universe is transformation. Our life is what our thoughts make of it." When we transform our thoughts from scarcity to abundance, we transform our reality. The Stoics practiced detachment, not out of renunciation or denial of life's pleasures, but out of freedom. They understood that when we become excessively attached to money, status, or a specific path to abundance, we enter a vibration of fear that blocks the natural flow of prosperity. Seneca, who was one of the richest men in Rome and at the same time a dedicated Stoic philosopher, regularly practiced voluntary deprivation exercises to remind himself that he could be happy even with much less than he had. This detachment freed him from the fear of losing his fortune and paradoxically allowed him to manage it more wisely. A powerful practice for freeing yourself from the fear of scarcity is what the Stoics called premeditatio malorum, the prior contemplation of adversity. Imagine yourself losing everything you own materially. Visualize what your life would be like, how you would adapt, what internal resources you would mobilize. Don't do this exercise to feed fear, but to realize that even in the worst possible scenario, you would still have your capacity for reason, your creativity, your resilience, and your inner virtue. This practice not only reduces the fear of the worst, but also increases gratitude for what you already have. Another valuable Stoic technique is the clear distinction between what is and isn't under your control. You can't control the global, economy, the actions of others, or random events that may affect your financial situation. But you do have absolute control over your perceptions, your decisions, your financial habits, and crucially, how you respond to challenges. By focusing your energy only on what is within your control, you stop wasting life force on pointless worries and start directing it towards constructive actions that can really improve your situation. To truly transcend the fear of scarcity, you need to develop what the Stoics called amor fati, love of fate. This attitude doesn't mean passive resignation, but active and loving acceptance of everything that life brings, including financial challenges. When you embrace every experience as an opportunity for growth and demonstration of virtue, fear loses its power over you. As Epictetus taught, do not seek to make things happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and your life will flow well. Freedom from the fear of scarcity doesn't happen overnight. It's an ongoing practice. Start by observing your thoughts about money and prosperity. When thoughts of fear arise, don't suppress them, but observe them with curiosity and detachment. Ask yourself, is this thought based on reality or an irrational fear? Is it under my control? How can I respond wisely? Gradually, you will develop the habit of replacing fear with confidence, scarcity with abundance, and attachment with inner freedom. The power is already in your hands. The prosperity you so desperately seek is not hidden somewhere far away or reserved for a select few. It is already within you, just waiting to be recognized and accepted. Along this journey through Stoic teachings, we discover that true wealth begins with an internal transformation in the way we think, feel, and act in the world. The ancient Stoic philosophers understood that our greatest prison is not external circumstances, but the mental blocks we create ourselves. When you free your mind from the fear of scarcity, when you expand your definition of wealth beyond money, when you cultivate gratitude for what you already have and act with the confidence of someone who already lives in abundance, you become a powerful magnet for prosperity. Remember, the universe responds to your vibration. What you focus on grows. When you vibrate in certainty, gratitude, and trust, the flow of wealth opens up naturally. It's not magic, it's a universal principle that the Stoics understood over 2,000 years ago. Starting today, take a close look at your thoughts about money. Replace fear with confidence. Celebrate every little sign of prosperity that comes your way. Practice visualization every day, feeling the thrill of already living in the abundance you want to manifest. True transformation is not just having more, but needing less, finding contentment and inner peace regardless of external circumstances. This is the Stoic wisdom that can revolutionize not only your finances, but your entire life experience. You already have everything you need to start this journey. Hidden wealth is already revealing itself. Trust the process. Stand firm in your vision and watch as the universe conspires in your favor. If this knowledge has touched your heart and you want to continue your journey of transformation, subscribe to the channel now. Activate the bell so you don't miss any Stoic teachings that can completely change your relationship with prosperity. Share this video with someone who needs to awaken to their own hidden wealth. And let us know in the comments, what is the most valuable lesson you're taking away from this reflection? Remember, you won't be richer when you have more money. You'll be richer when you feel you already have everything you need. And that moment can start right now.